Hello guys, Mr. Silk here again. So I want to tell you how you can actually make a woman go from, in the beginning, being completely not interested in you to actually giving you a chance to maintain a conversation. This is a huge thing. So I will tell you a story. About 2 years ago, when I was coaching a client, day game, and that client had done, a lot of day game approaches. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of women that he cold approached and opened a conversation. And that particular time, he also wanted to do a night game session. And that is very different from a day game session. And that guy, my client, normally he don't like night venues, but this time he decided to go and try it on night game. So we decided to go out to one of my cities in Poland, one of the more exclusive nightclubs. We decided to go there and we went there. And the first thing he did was to approach two beautiful women standing at the bar. So he went straight into it, almost like a day game session. He just went straight in and then started open up with a direct opener. And what actually happened? Well, he got completely rejected, completely. And after that particular set, after that particular approach, he wanted to give up, basically. It was so devastating for him that he just felt immediately that this is not for me and I don't want to be here. But before I let him make that decision, I wanted him to break it down to me on what he actually did, how he opened, and what basically went wrong. So what he did was that he opened up in the same way as he do in the day game session. He just went up and say, "Excuse me, I think you look really nice, you look really adorable, and I just had to come and say hi." And then they just didn't let him to say hi even. They just said, "Oh, you know what? We don't want to talk with you." And that's it, a rejection. What went wrong here exactly? Well, I'm not saying that direct methods don't work on night games. They do occasionally, but many times women in night game had been approached by so many guys before you approaching most of the time with similar openings. They're coming up and say, "Oh, excuse me, I think you're beautiful. Can I buy you a drink?" Or they come up and say like, "Oh, you have adorable eyes. I really like them." And then blah, 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 blah. "Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so sexy even." I mean, there's a lot of guys coming up and saying that to women they find attractive because they are intoxicated. So not only do they approach, more or less in the wrong way, they're also semi-drunk. And women become completely immune to it, specifically those that have a lot of male attention. They just get immune to it and they just reject guys before they even can, finish the sentence, like my client. So I told him that, you know what, instead of going so direct, you should actually flip your brain into the curiosity mode that we have been speaking about over and over again. So you being curious about them is more important than you trying to give them a compliment and then get into the curiosity mode. Sometimes it's better to go into the curiosity mode immediately, just to open up a conversation and then take it from there. So I made a demonstration. So I went straight into the same women that completely rejected my client. They didn't see that me and my client were together. So I went straight in and I opened with, "Excuse me, girls," I said, "I have a quick question." They look at me and they say, "Yeah," with a pretty neutral look. Not so negative, not positive, just neutral. And then I ask, "How is your evening going?" They just look at me and they said, "Well, it's okay." And then nothing else. I took that and I said, "You know what? My evening is great. I mean, look at this place. It's just massive. I really love this place." I stopped there and then I asked the question back by asking, "I'm curious, what do you guys think about this place?" They look at me and they was thinking actually a little bit. I said, so, not really our place. And I was thinking like, okay, but I'm curious. Then I said, "I'm curious. If there would be something in this place that you guys like, what would that be?" Completely quiet. And then they will look at me and they said, "Well, the music is okay because we know the bartender." Then I look at them and I reflect back by saying, so you don't like this club normally because this club can't be the normal club that you normally go to, but you're here now because of the bartender, right? Then they start looking at me with a more positive look and said like, "Yeah, you know what? That's actually right." And then now I know they were hooked and open to have a normal conversation. I got inside the door to actually being able to interact with them. So my follow-up question would be like, "That DJ, play good music because you said that this club had good music. So when you say good music, what do you mean exactly?" I'm curious. Now they just completely lit up. They were so happy, and they wanted to tell me why the music in this place was that good. And from there on, I could take it basically anywhere I want. I could go into depth asking about other things. I could go and ask about other clubs, in the same area that they like instead, and what makes that club better than this place. And then I can go ahead and talk about drinks, like if they could recommend me their favorite drink, what would that be? And I go into, drinks and talking more about the club environment. And I can go and take it to so many different areas that is also connected with them as persons, their relationship to things. So that is how I actually went in, open up, and then get into the door. Because you need to get into that conversational door to be able to start interact with them. And when you are within that interaction, that is when you can actually make something happen. It's not the approach to make something happen. It is when they start talking to you that things are happening. And trust me, no one, whether it's a woman or a man, just human, no one like it better than talking about what they think about things and about themselves to someone who actually are interested and are listening. So take that with you, and I see you in the next video.